We built an agentic SEO content writing system that creates unique, search-optimized content fast using your product and industry knowledge. Here's how it works. Now, RankUp's content creation workflow is a 4-step workflow. The first step is creating the unique angle. Then the second step is creating the content outline. And the third is creating a content blueprint. And finally, it's actually writing the content. All of these steps are executed by AI agents, asking for your input and actually doing whatever needs to be done, creating the unique angle, the outline, the blueprint, or actually writing the content. Before we get into creating the content, if you remember from one of my previous videos, we actually picked a topic that we were going to write on. So in this case, it's going to be unique content SEO. If you don't have a SEO content strategy or a plan, you definitely need it, because just writing on topics randomly is not the way that you win, or at least if you try to do so, you're going to get outcompeted by people like me who have a plan and strategy and who know exactly what they're doing. I definitely recommend to go check out that video where I showed how you can create an SEO content strategy and plan super fast with RankUp's AI agents. So I added a link in the description below, so definitely go check that one out after this one. And I also added a link in the description below to a video that shows RankUp's agent brain, right? And how that helps with creating unique SEO content fast, and how you can collect all kinds of information about your business, your competitors, and etc. Before we get into actual writing, there is one more step. Coming here to the settings, and then there's this tab context. And here there's two things. These are essentially your brand guidelines. Style guides are how different parts of your content are created, right? What is your kind of formatting, the branding side of things. So this is all branding, and so this is more of tone of for writing, and this is more I guess branding, and also how you write the different sections, right? How do you write FAQs? How do you write your CTAs? That's pretty much it. So definitely recommend to fill these out before starting your writing. But now let's actually start the content creation process. First step, creating the unique angle. Lyra will take us through the first 3 steps. So the content angle, the outline, and the blueprint. The unique angle is essentially how are you gonna make your content different from what's already existing in Google SERP. This helps set the foundation so that the next steps are also taking into account the unique approach your content is going to take. Here essentially we have the search intent. What are people searching for when searching for this keyword? Then it's essentially what's the unique angle. So it's already proposed the unique angle that we're going to take on this topic with our content. And then it's how your product, your service, your feature, whatever, fits into this unique angle. And now Lyra is asking us some questions, so let's see what they are. I guess it's kind of both of those two. Book a demo. And I guess we can do that. I guess it's both of those. So I'll submit. And now Lyra has my answers and will actually adjust the unique angle based on my answers if it needs to be adjusted. And then we can move on to the next step. So what do we have here? Yeah, okay. Looks good. So I'll keep that, and then it will save, and nice. And we can continue to outline. So that's the first step complete. Very simple, very fast. And now Lyra will actually create the structure for our article. Now it's doing the research. So it's researching the competitors, seeing how they have created their structure, what is their kind of order of headings, what headings do they even include, how do they write their headings, right? So it's analyzing all of that. Then she will create us the outline. She'll ask us some questions. We'll answer those questions and see if we need to adjust anything ourselves, and if we don't, then we can just go into the next step. If you're new to SEO and you have never done SEO before, so awesome. Okay, it's almost done. What's great about this kind of side-by-side comparison is that you can actually look what topics they have covered, and if there are anything pretty much all of the competitors or a lot of them have covered and they're ranking very high, that probably means that you also need to cover them too. This kind of side-by-side comparison really helps with understanding that. And first, let's answer Lyra's questions. Like this one. No, don't do anything. Yes. And you can also, if you don't want to kind of answer, you can just say something like don't change anything. I don't want to answer to this question. So sometimes Lyra is obviously also not perfect. If there's anything you don't want to answer to, then you can just say I don't want to answer and don't change anything, right? For example. And then I'll submit my answers, and then let's see if she makes any adjustments to this outline. Okay, well, she was very fast. Damn. So she did make the change of the H1, which is nice. So there's a couple ways on how you can edit. the outline, you can either just do it manually, right, with the edit button here, or what you can also do is, what I like is, and what other users like as well, is just putting the add to chat. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll tell her number these. And then she'll do it for me. And you can also discuss with her, oh, I don't know if this heading is really good. Just accept all, boom, done. And very simple. that's very simple to edit like that. And then for each of the headings, you can also see the reasoning. So why did she propose this heading, right? This is quite good. I like it. So let me see if some of the function of the unique content, I don't know, this is a weird one. Good one. Okay, well, these are quite good. So I'll keep all of these. If you're done with the outline, we can move on to the blueprint phase. So now it's starting the blueprint creation. The problem with a lot of content writers out there is that they kind of just generate everything for you, and that's why AI, that content isn't really good, and these AI content generators have a bit of a bad rep in terms of actually creating content. Well, with RankUp, we have added a step in between the outline and content creation, and that's the blueprint step. It will do whatever it can already, but what you will write about in each of the sections, like more specifically, it will instead add key talking points, and it will use like a question by question logic. What is the next question in the reader's mind after actually reading the direct answer, right? So it uses that, because content creation ultimately, if we break it down, it's all about kind of answering the questions what the person has, right? Because they're reading it to get answers to questions, and then actual writing out the key talking points will be for the writing phase. And then you'll see in the writing, much more quality content comes out if we do it this way than not just like generate everything and then have to like kind of go through the content and start to clean up AI content, which is an own process in itself, right? And that's just like a waste of time, and we don't want to waste time here. That's just to briefly explain the blueprint logic, why we have that. But now let's answer some more questions. So during while it's creating the blueprint, Lyra also has some questions for us, and it will then actually enrich the blueprint based on our answers. Now, before I answer these questions, then this is basically what the blueprint creation looks like, right? So these are the direct answers it created. Wrote for this one. It's quite fucking fast. Sorry for my language. It answers the main like point under each section, and then those are the key talking points, right? So we'll check those out in just a bit. So I'll answer some Lyra's questions here in the meanwhile while it's creating the blueprint. Original data, first-hand experience. Yeah, okay, so I already finished the blueprint. So let me try to answer these questions. Yeah, we do. Definitely that. Yeah, those are the main things. Lyra has now my answers. Let's see. Okay, so now Lyra handed off the content creation process to Cedric, so RankUp's writer agent. Now Cedric will actually enrich the blueprint with my answers. So Lyra doesn't just ask 3 questions actually in this blueprint phase. The more you can answer, the better. But in this case, I was just yapping a lot and explaining the blueprint while it was actually asking me the questions. But yeah, now pretty much Cedric will enrich the blueprint with my answers, and then we can get to the final step, which is actually writing it. So it already actually started writing. I'll just already accept these. As you see, it already added my input here, so answers from user. It actually already started writing the FAQs. If you want to stop the writing process, then you can also always do that. But I mean, I don't mind it already covering the FAQs for me. But yeah, then we'll scroll back up and we'll start from the intros. And I guess one more thing to mention about the content creation is that RankUp doesn't just write the content. It's using a writing loop. So it's writing, critiquing itself, then writing again, and it's like kind of analyzing itself. And over time, it learns to write better, right? Because it gets better with your prompts and the feedback that you give to it and your input. So, yeah. Awesome. So it now made all the edits. Let's check out what it did. It turned all essentially the key talking points, all of that into actual content, and the green is like the content it wrote, right? I can just keep that, and I can just accept all the changes. So now it wrote the FAQs for me. Let's now go to the top, and yeah, so it kind of started automatically with the FAQs. And what you can do is just add to chat like we did in the outline, and then you can just tell it write the intro, right? And yeah, it asked me some questions. Submit. And now it's just doing the writing loop, and then it will write the intro for us, and and then that's pretty much how the rank up content creation goes. All right, so it proposed edits, so we now have the intro nicely written for us here. So I'll accept all. And boom, there we go. That's a fairly good intro. It moved on by itself, but you can also do it section by section, however you prefer. I guess one more thing to mention here while it's writing for this section. For each of the key talking points and the direct answer, there's also the reasoning for the key talking point and for the direct answers, like why is it written that way and why is it recommended to write on this topic. I actually like this even more. It removed some of the M dashes. And now the content creation actually also, as you see, is using different, it's not just writing a blank block of text, using different formats wherever it makes sense, right? And now it's moving on to the next section. I'll write this content piece. It will take me a little bit of time. Once I'm done, then we can see the review step. I'll show you that in just a bit. So I'll finish this piece and then we can take a look at how the review function works. Alright, so we got the content created now. So as we see, a nice clean draft. Now, as the final step, what we can also do is review the content, right? So make sure it's actually following the SEO writing rules, your style guides, creative brief, and also content-wide guidelines. Now let's first check the writing rules. So I'll put run review. Okay, so we got our first set of edits. These look good to go. So I'll accept all of them. Okay, so we get 6 out of 15 done. Alright, so we got the second round of edits. Yeah, these look solid. And we got 10 out of 15 done. Alright, and we got the last set of things to approve. So let me just right. And boom, so we get the writing rules reviewed. Pretty much then I would continue checking the style guides, the creative brief, and the content-wide guidelines. And then pretty much I would have a nicely polished content piece ready to publish. Just have to add some infographics and images. Now to recap, then pretty much how you can create unique search optimized content fast with RankUp is 4 or 5 step workflow, right? Very easy. First, you pick a topic from your content plan. Then you start the writing workflow. First is the unique angle, then it's the content outline, then it's the content blueprint, and then it's actually like writing the content, right? And finally, what you can also do, if needed to, is review the content. So make sure it's following the SEO content writing rules, your style guides, your creative brief, and also the SEO content-wide guidelines. Pretty much, those are all the steps. That's how you can create a unique search optimized content super fast with RankUp's AI agents. If you don't have your strategy set yet, I actually made a video showing how you can almost fully automate SEO content strategy creation using RankUp's SEO strategist AI agent, Magnus. The link is in the description below. And if you already have your topic, make sure you filled out your knowledge base first. RankUp works best when you add at least some unique information you want Cedric to use. That's when speed and quality really meet. I'll also link that video in the description below. And if you want to learn more about RankUp's agentic content system, there's another video that covers more than just writing. The Lyra and Cedric duo can also audit your content, monitor its performance, and help you improve it. That link is also in the description below. That's it for now. See you in the next one.